Today, I saw an interesting comparison between India and China. It summarized the startup scenes of both countries and showed a stark difference. India seems to focus more on services such as food and grocery delivery apps, social media, and sports betting apps, while China focuses on robotics, automation, manufacturing, and innovative technology that can improve artificial intelligence or green energy or, many other things. This is indicative of the topic at hand, why Modi's Make in India dream failed miserably. So this unhealthy focus on the service economy, along with a bunch of other reasons, like the lack of quality control, all that red tape, the attitude and work ethic, and the government's ineptitude, these all play a pretty big role in why Make in India failed so hard. But first, let's check out our bragger of the day. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Here's the comment. He said, "The pariah U.S. is a shithole full of drug zombies in tent cities across California. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Chicago, Phoenix, New York, etc. Just look at the NYC metro full of homeless sleeping and pooping in the streets. Look at Brussels, Paris, and London, everywhere tent cities and homeless. San Francisco is called the poop capital of the world." First of all, I never claimed these places are perfect. In fact, I've berated these places many times, especially the US. But let's be real here, they're still far better than any city in India. There's just no comparison. You called San Francisco the poop capital of the world? Maybe you should look in the mirror, just remember to wipe the cow dung off it first. Isn't the supposedly holy river Ganga found to have over 1,400 times the accepted amount of bacteria found in feces? Second, instead of accepting the facts I stated, you didn't even deny them and just went straight to attacking these random Western cities. I think that basically means what I said is correct, and you're just using the typical angry netizen tactic of spewing and flooding the comment section with unrelated nonsense. India was supposed to be the next China. That was the dream, specifically Modi's dream. That was his promise. So much so that he created the slogan, "Make in India," to signify the start of India's journey to dominate global manufacturing, just like China did. But a decade later, Make in India has become little more than a flashy slogan stamped on a pile of failure. Factories never came, jobs didn't follow, and foreign companies, they're not investing, they're fleeing. It should be renamed Wait in India. What global brands has India developed? While China has Alibaba, India has Ali Bragger. While China has Xiaomi, India has Cowpea. While China has DeepSeek, India has DeepShit. While China has TikTok, India has Big Talk. India doesn't make things, it serves things. Instead of building the next iPhone or Tesla, India is busy running call centers and coding outsourced software for a pittance. There's nothing wrong with services, but they don't create mass employment or lift 1 billion people out of poverty. Manufacturing does, and that's exactly where India failed and China succeeded. When Modi launched Make in India in 2014, the goal was simple: turn India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. He promised millions of factory jobs, higher exports, and economic transformation. A bold vision. But what happened? Today, manufacturing still makes up only around 13% of India's GDP. Compare that to China's 27% or even Vietnam's 25%. India is still importing more than it's producing, and factories remain rare, scattered, and underdeveloped. Why? Because nobody wants to manufacture in a place where red tape is thicker than steel. Keep in mind that China makes up 30% of global manufacturing output, whereas India makes up 3% of global manufacturing output. Also, even though Vietnam's population is 14 times smaller than India's, its total manufacturing output is only 4.5 times smaller. Basically, India is far behind where it should be.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about the bureaucracy. In India, starting a factory involves navigating a web of permits, approvals, inspections, and corrupt officials. Land acquisition alone can take years. Labor laws are outdated and inflexible. Electricity is unreliable. Logistics are a nightmare. And even after clearing all the hurdles, you still might not get access to basic infrastructure like water or roads riddled with holes with the occasional cow. Then there's quality, or rather, the lack of it. American tech firms tried manufacturing components in India. A Tata lead factory issued a report stating that 50% of iPhone casings that were being manufactured in India Failed quality checks. That's casings, one of the more basic components of a smartphone. Why would any of these advanced companies want to invest in India after hearing this? Some of them even pushed Qualcomm to source parts locally. The result? Parts that failed quality checks repeatedly. Engineers complained of inconsistent materials, poor calibration, and a general lack of accountability. And who could forget Tesla? Even after Elon personally met with Modi in Washington and many netizens speculated that Elon was going to invest in India, the Indian heavy industries minister had to publicly state that Tesla had no interest in manufacturing in India. These aren't isolated stories. They're the reason big tech still prefers China or Vietnam despite rising costs. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room, the attitude. There's a culture problem in parts of India's manufacturing ecosystem. Deadlines aren't respected. Quality control is seen as optional. Workers aren't properly trained. Managers lack discipline. The result is a system that breaks down under pressure, unable to meet global standards. Have a deadline for the end of this week? Good luck getting the workers to stay longer and work harder. There's always next week, they say. And foreign companies take notice. That's why Apple, despite making noise about moving out of China, has barely shifted its supply chain to India. Foxconn is there, yes, but only assembling phones with Chinese-made components. The brains, the chips, the high-value parts, they're still made in China. India gets the scraps and simply assembles them so they avoid the Made in China tariff tag. And what about funding? The Indian government talks a big game, but spending tells a different story. Investment in industrial parks, ports, power grids, and R&D remains pitiful. Compare India's infrastructure to China's. Bullet trains, smart cities, deep water ports. Now compare that to India's crumbling roads and constant blackouts. The difference isn't just night and day. It's developed versus barely developing. Meanwhile, countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and even Bangladesh are eating India's lunch. They offer simpler rules, faster approvals, lower costs, and better discipline. Foreign manufacturers are lining up to invest there. In India, they're lining up to get out. Even Bangladesh, the country that loudmouthed netizens love to hate, has specialized in clothes manufacturing, and its GDP per capita is now on par with India. What makes this failure even more tragic is that India had everything going for it. A huge workforce with lots of English speakers, a large domestic market, a democratic system, and a charismatic leader selling the dream. But dreams need more than speeches. They need execution. And this is where Modi's government has utterly failed. Instead of fixing the core issues, land reform, infrastructure, labor training, the government poured energy into PR campaigns and buzzwords. Make in India became more of a hashtag than a policy. And when nothing improved, the government did what it always does. It moved the goalposts and blamed others. The hard truth is this: you can't manufacture success with slogans. You need policy, planning, precision, and persistence. India has none of that. And unless it makes drastic changes, it will stay stuck in a service economy that cannot absorb its massive population or deliver real growth, meaning hundreds of millions stuck in the super low income and wealth bracket. If you found this video insightful, hit that subscribe button. We've got more unfiltered takes coming soon.